Good morning. It's Char Creating Company. Thanks for coming and joining me today. I woke up hungry today. How many of you have woken up hungry? Usually you have a cup of coffee and a piece of toast and you're on the run. Well, this morning I think I'm going to make an omelet, a pepper jack cheese omelet, and I think I'm going to use some sourdough and make a piece of French toast. So I thought I'd show you what I do, and maybe you do things different, and that's okay. I love eating other people's food. I love going out to eat. But today I'm going to be having breakfast at home because it's a bit chilly outside. And I'm going out for dinner tonight with my son-in-law, my daughter, and my husband. So this morning I'm going to cook breakfast, and I thought I'd bring you with me. So let's get started. I'm going to reposition my camera so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. All right. Well, in here I have 2 eggs. Sometimes I'll make a 3-egg omelet, but today I'm only making a 2-egg omelet. I use probably about a half a teaspoon of half and half. I've whipped up the eggs. I've got my butter in the pan here. And now I'm going to turn on my stove. And I'm going to whip these up just a little bit more. I like to add just a little bit of air in there. Kind of makes it a little more fluffy, if you know what I mean. Sorry for the noise. It gets noisy in the kitchen. Were you ever in a restaurant kitchen? It's pretty noisy in there. I worked in several restaurants throughout my years, and I'll tell you, it's crazy. I just put a little bacon fat in the other pan because I'm going to do a mixture of butter and bacon fat for my French toast. But anyway, I'll put this aside, get some butter, here. Just going to take a good dollop. I'm not afraid to use butter. I'm afraid to use those plastic margarines and things like that, but I'm not afraid to use butter. All right, let me get a spatula out and just kind of make sure all the edges are nicely oiled up with the butter. Okay. Let me bring you a little closer to the stove. Here we go. So I'm going to put this on the stove. And I'm going to take my egg mixture and my spatula. And just turn the heat up just for a moment until my pan gets nice and hot. And then I just kind of scrape everything down. And I put that right in the pan. Now, trick to omelets. You want them fluffy, not flat. I have a way of doing it that I'm sure the people who originated the omelet would scratch their heads at, but that's okay. I do things my way, as you probably do things your way, and that's all right. So now I'm going to turn it down because I do not want that to burn. Okay, so see how fast that's cooking on the bottom, and then I spin it around. Spin it around all on the sides. Let it sit another moment. In the meantime, I've got in my other pan, I've got the other pan going here, warming up for the French toast. Let me put some light on the subject. Here we go. So now what you do is you take what's on the sides of the omelet and you just push them down and you tilt the pan. You know, see what I'm doing? Tilting the pan so that the wet stuff can get underneath. See how that looks all nice and ribbon-like? Okay, so we're just gonna continue to cook that. All right. Kind of spin it around a little bit more. All right. Like I said, I'm using a pepper jack cheese, which I have right here. And I'm just going to cut those into little strips. They were just some squares, you know, party squares. And I'm just cutting them up into strips. I put 4 in there. And see, I just cut them up into little strips. All right, I'm just gonna let those sit there. I'm gonna watch this omelet very carefully because, like I said, I do not want it to burn. I'll be serving this with a piece of avocado, by the way. All right, I'm going to take my sea salt and I'm going to give it a couple turns. I put it in my hand and I will sprinkle that salt on top. I will also take my pepper and put a little bit of that on top. All right. There we go. Just continue to check that. All right. A little longer on the edges there. All right. In the meantime, I'm going to crack some eggs. I'm going to crack some eggs right now for my French toast. I'm only making one piece, so I'm just going to use 1 egg. I'm going to take a little bit of vanilla. A little vanilla. Pour some in my little cap here. Throw that in. Oop, took a little more too much, so I'll put that back on. Now, when I make French toast, I have an ingredient that most people don't use. Let's get back to this omelet. Right now, what I'm going to do with the omelet is I'm going to very carefully turn it over. Okay? All right. Now, okay, I turn the omelet over. Now I'm going to add some of this cheese. All right. How many of you love cheese? All right. So we're just going to put the cheese on. Okay. Just going to let that sit a few minutes. And then I'm going to flip it over. All right. Hold on 1 second. I have to get something. Thought I had it out there. One of the things that I like to use in my omelet or my French toast, which I have already the vanilla. I have 1 egg. And now I'm adding a touch of almond. Oh gosh, that smells so good. So good. I just do a little tiny bit. I think it's like, I don't know, a couple little drops. And I put that in there. You do it to your liking. But boy, does it add a nice extra layer of flavor. All right, so now here's my omelet. I'm going to flip it over. Okay? flip my omelet over. Now, if you don't want your pepper to show on the outside, then I would just wait till you flip the first time, then put the pepper on when you put the cheese on, and then you won't see the pepper. But I love pepper. I don't mind it. But you see how nice and fluffy it looks? Okay, so that's going to sit like that. And I'm going to keep that on warm so that the rest of the cheese melts. So I'm going to just put that over here, and I'm going to move the other frying pan right next to me. I have to get I'm using a cast iron skillet, so this comes in handy. All right, that stove is off. I'm using sourdough bread, so I'll lay that aside. I'm also using some cinnamon in my French toast. So, let's see. We're going to do just a little sprinkle of cinnamon. All right. Sometimes I'll put some right on top as it's cooking as well. Whoop! I'm sorry about that. Okay, here we go. There we go. All right, the other thing I'm going to add now is a little half and half. Not too much. I don't want milk French toast. I want it to taste like eggs. So I use about maybe a teaspoon. All righty. Now I'm going to turn my pan up again. Okay, now it's time to mix up the batter. Now, you won't get this kind of batter in a restaurant. I am guaranteeing it. Theirs is more, I don't know what they use, but most restaurants don't do it this way. They use cheaper ingredients. I like my French toast eggy. All right? It's more protein that way, and it just tastes better. And another thing, they don't soak the bread long enough. So now I'm taking my sourdough. This is a sourdough that I did not make this one. This is a store-bought sourdough. It's a good quality one. I try to mix it up. I buy sourdough from people who bake it themselves, and I buy it from the store if I can find a good quality one. But like I said, I use up all that batter. It soaks it up real nice, and one piece is more than enough. Okay? But it's all pretty, all nice, you know. So like I said, that was one egg. Tiny bit of half and half. Vanilla extract, almond extract, cinnamon. Now, like I said, I like to add a little extra cinnamon. So I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit more on there. There we go. And now I'm going to lay it face down in the pan. All right, there we go. See that? And we don't let any of this go to waste. I just take my spatula and I just make sure I use every bit of that delicious French toast batter. Have any of you ever tried the almond extract in your French toast? I'm telling you, it was a game changer for me. All right, so that's going to cook up. I'm going to throw this all in the sink, rinse my hands off again. And, yeah, get all this out of my way. Luckily, my sink's right behind me. Check the heat. All right, so that's going to cook nicely. I check it every so often because I don't want it to burn. Just kind of turn it around into the butter and the bacon grease. I mean, if you don't want to use bacon grease, you don't have to. So anyway, did everybody have a nice New Year's? Did you do anything special? I'm looking at the wrong part of, I wasn't looking at you, sorry. My husband and I spent New Year's Eve by ourselves. We had a nice crab dinner, like king crab legs, some shrimp for an appetizer. We drank mimosas. And, yeah, we had a nice time together. Well, this is our first year in our new home. We moved in here in August. So this was our first holiday, you know, Christmas, New Year's Eve. So we thought we would spend it, just the two of us. And Jackson. Jackson's walking around here someplace. But I'm checking the French toast. And, yeah, it's about ready to turn. So I'm going to give her a turn. All right, turn away from you so you don't splash yourself. But I'll have you take a look at that. See how nicely that's cooking? Yeah. And trust me, it's going to taste amazing. It really will. And what makes it even more amazing is you have to use real maple syrup. And it's so good for you. It doesn't have all that high fructose corn syrup in it. See, I stay away from a lot of those things. I have to. You know, I mean, it's just better for you. And at the stage in my life, I try to stay away from as many preservatives and things that aren't, you know, healthy for me. I try to stay away from a lot of that stuff. You know, so, and I feel it just tastes better, you know. And when you're a cook, or, you know, a chef, you know, you just evolve. You know, your taste buds change the more you dabble in food and understand where your food comes from and what's in it. So important. It really is. I'm very fortunate that I'm on no prescription medications, and you know, I'm pretty healthy for the most part. I have a few little flaws, but I attribute that to my younger years with my issues that I had with my thyroid, and you know, weight is something that came along with that, as well as going through the change of life, which all women go through. Men, you go through it too. You just don't want to admit it. You just go through it in a different way. So let's check this French toast. Oh my goodness, that's looking amazing. All right, so while that finishes cooking, I'm going to get a plate and I'm going to warm it in my microwave. So I'm going to put this on pause here. Before I put my plate in the microwave to heat up, I want to show you, I have this set of Kate Spade plates that I absolutely love. They come in different colors. This is the yellow one. Well, I just had to have them. I've had them for about 4 years now, maybe 5. All right, my plate is nice and warm. So now I'm going to plate up the food. I have a half of avocado here. I love avocados. And I think it's going to look, it's going to taste great with the omelet. Now this, I won't eat nothing for the rest of the day. Have a nice big breakfast. And the rest of the day, I might have some tea, a couple of cashews, but that'll be it until this evening when I go out to dinner with my daughter and her husband, my husband. All right, so I'm going to plate this up. Let me show you. Okay. Sometimes this can be a little tricky with that. A little cheese went on there when I went to go put it on the first time. Okay, so I'm going to plate this up. Put my omelet there. Take my avocado. And I'm going to put it right on the side. Put a little piece there. And I'm going to take my French toast. And I'm going to plop it right there. There you go. And you know, gotta have a little bit of butter on that French toast, you know, because you can't have enough butter. Butter's good for you, by the way. Do some research. You gotta stay away from those margarines. They're one molecule away from being a plastic. We get enough plastic in the stuff we're breathing in and ingesting in ways you wouldn't want to even think about. But anyway, that is my plate. Oh my. Don't you love my camera skills? You'll notice I try to have a sense of humor about things because you can't always take life seriously. Things happen, you know. Mistakes happen, and that's okay. But anyway, I'm glad you joined me today, and I'd like you to try that French toast with the almond extract. I think you're gonna like it. So let's take another look. And we're going to pour some syrup on there before I eat it, and it's going to be satisfying. All right, this is Charlene S., Char S., Creating Company, and I'll see you soon. Take care, have a wonderful day, and again, Happy New Year. Make it the best ever.